What's up, everyone? Welcome into Sports Bluff. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tristan Bunn alongside my friend, my fellow football fool, Ryan Lambert, ready to talk some Week 13 NFL action. Make sure you like the show, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate all of that. Ryan, got a lot to talk about tonight, but I guess first and foremost, we're going to start with my Kansas City Chiefs because wasn't a great Sunday night game. Not one of my favorites. I pretty much watched the whole game in a state of disarray, dismay, pissed off, all kinds of stuff. They lost 27-19 to the Packers. Didn't like it.
Let's really talk about the meat and potatoes of this game. Are you sounding the alarms on the Chiefs? What is your concern level heading in to next week?
Concern level's high.
Yeah, it's got to be.
It's really high. And you know, I'm not a overreactor. I don't jump the gun. I don't freak out after one little loss or anything. But this is, it's not even the loss, Ryan. It's that I'm not on the team.
Well.
The Chiefs were physically dominated. They were physically abused by the Green Bay Packers. I thought they were going to file a domestic lawsuit before the game was over. The Packers pushed them around. They did whatever they wanted to do all night long. And what really shocked me, the Chiefs scoring 19 points. If that's shocking you at this point, then you're in denial about who the Kansas City Chiefs are.
It's the defense.
It's the defense. How?
The secondary looked like Swiss cheese, Tristan.
It was the worst that the Kansas City defense has looked all season. Arguably the worst they've looked in 2 seasons because we've talked about the Chiefs a lot on this show. I've said Patrick Mahomes doesn't have to go out there and score 30 points when you have a defense that's holding teams to, on average, like 16, 17 a game. They let Jordan Love do whatever he wanted to with them. And I really credit Matt LaFleur in the play calling because they were able to run the ball with A.J. Dillon, and that set up the play action pass. And Jordan Love looked like a pro. He could do anything he wanted to do out there. And before I toss it to you, I just got to talk about the penalties for a second. Not in a way people expect me to.
There's no way you're going to let that get out of this little discussion, huh?
So obviously, the one everyone's talking about is the no-call pass interference on MVS, which would have given Marquez Valdes-Scantling. It would have given the Chiefs first and goal, inside the 10-yard line with a chance to score and get a 2-point conversion, send it to overtime. Okay, was it an egregious missed call? 100%. Absolutely. The game was full of bad calls on both sides. The roughing the passer, unnecessary roughness call on Patrick Mahomes when he was still in bounds that kept that drive alive, that was a ridiculous call, okay? I'm not going to sit here and cry and whine about penalties, though, because you know my stance on penalties. This is what we always say on the show, and it's just a fact. Play better. Don't put yourself in a position to where you need a call to go a certain way to bail you out. The Chiefs didn't deserve to win that football game, Ryan. If that pass interference call would have came, maybe they would have been able to push it into overtime and steal the win, but they sure didn't deserve it because they were outplayed, outmanned, outdominated for 60 minutes by the Green Bay Packers. And that's just the truth. There is no other way around it. The Chiefs were dominated. They deserved to lose that game. The interception by Patrick Mahomes, that was really the dagger because this version of the Chiefs team has to be perfect. Like Patrick Mahomes has to play perfect for this team to win ball games. He's great, but he's not perfect every single game all year long. So, and if he's not, then they can't win football games, especially when the defense collapses like it did. So I'll give it to you. What do you think about the game? Because I was disgusted, and I don't think this is a championship team, the Chiefs. I really don't.
Right. You can never count Patrick Mahomes out, right? I mean, you can never do that, but it seems like things are starting to catch up with the Chiefs. The Chiefs have barely squeaked by all year in multiple games, lost some pretty big games that, they should have had in the bag, and you just ask yourself, is this, Patrick Mahomes is a miracle worker on the field, but is the lack of receiving weapons starting to catch up to him? Is this defense starting to get gassed? Are teams starting to figure out this defense a little bit better? Because, Tristan, it looked like Jordan Love was an MVP caliber quarterback to some degree. He didn't make a mistake. They couldn't get pressure on him. I think he was only sacked like maybe 2 or 3 times, which for Green Bay, not bad. Especially when you have
Mahomes was sacked like 3 times. They got after Mahomes.
It was pretty even. One had 2, one had 3 sacks, if I'm not mistaken. But this Chiefs defensive line up until this point was phenomenal. and they started to slack off the last couple of weeks, really starting with that Denver loss. And it's just been a little bit different team week to week now. And you look at Green Bay, and it seems like things are starting to come together a little bit for them. It looks like Jordan Love is starting to find a little bit of a groove. And you got to ask yourself, going into week 13 that just passed, like, did you think that Green Bay was going to completely dominate the game? I know the score didn't look like they did, but it felt like they did the entire game.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where the score looks, way closer than it actually was, in my opinion.
Right.
Obviously, the turnover from the Chiefs was the dagger. I think that really flipped the game script, because up until that point, the Chiefs were keeping it within like 2 to 4 points.
You can never count Mahomes out. Anytime he's on the field, they've got a shot to win. And I still thought the Chiefs would win the game, because that's what Mahomes does until, as you said, the interception. And it was a bad interception. I don't know if it was all Mahomes, if it was Sky Moore. Why Sky Moore is still being involved at all blows my mind. And why they still limit Rashee Rice, it blows my mind. Yeah, Edwards-Helaire. There's a lot of things that the Chiefs have done this year that confuse me. But you're right. They were physically dominated the whole game. It was the
entire game.
Embarrassing. It was one of the worst losses since I've been following the Chiefs. 10 plus years. So
right. So you take all this into account, right? And you look at the Chiefs and you question their playoff contention, and then you look at Green Bay and you got to ask, are they going to wind up earning themselves a playoff spot? Because you look at their division and you see that the Lions are slipping up a little bit. The Bears aren't going to make it, obviously, and the Vikings, Dobbs had a good 3 weeks of a run, and
now they're nosediving.
They're nosediving. So you got to ask, is Green Bay creeping up that division? Statistically, yes, but also, are they going to battle with the Lions at all, or are the Lions still going to walk away with it, and the Packers maybe land a wild card?
No way the Packers can catch them for the division, I don't think. I think that would be crazy, because they're 6-6. The Lions are 9-3, so they're 3 games back. There's only 5 games left.
Yeah, but we've talked about all year that the strength of schedule for the Packers, I think, is pretty weak toward the end of the year, right?
I've got it right here. Let me look. Let's see who they got next.
I know, so just looking at Detroit, they got the Bears, the Broncos, the Vikings, the Cowboys, and the Vikings again.
Yeah, it's easy for Green Bay, too. They've got the Giants, the Bucks, the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears. Those are all winnable if they beat the Chiefs. And that's the thing. It's not just that the Chiefs had a bad night. They did, but they had a bad night because of what Green Bay did. Green Bay executed a flawless game plan. And this is how they've looked. Really, we wondered, was that beatdown of Detroit Green Bay had on Thanksgiving, was it kind of, a one-off? Maybe Detroit was sleepwalking through the game, thought they would catch them off guard or something. No, it looks like the Packers have figured something out. And they actually said in the broadcast, I don't know if you caught it, but Matt LaFleur said the words, "We took the training wheels off of Jordan Love," because we follow Jordan Love's season closely. It started really good, right? First 3 weeks, he looked good, and then it kind of hit a nosedive, and it looked like, maybe they're going to have to find a quarterback. Well, these last 3 to 4 weeks, it's picked back up, and he looks like a franchise guy, because Matt LaFleur said they took the training wheels off. They stopped trying to protect him and treat him like a rookie quarterback, and instead they said, hey, we'll just go run the Matt LaFleur offense. We're just going to turn it over to you. Let's see what you got. Turns out he's really good at it.
Well, they spoke about that on the broadcast, too. They said that Aaron Rodgers had his way of doing it. Brett Favre had his way. What you're seeing now is Matt LaFleur's way of running an offense.
It's like not Matt LaFleur unleashed.
That's exactly what it is. It's Jordan Love putting on the helmet, going out there and playing LaFleur's game. And LaFleur is doing a fantastic job at developing these players. When you look at the
one
Packers,
of the youngest teams in the league, too.
And their receiving core, Tristan, the other night when they played the Chiefs, looked way better than the Chiefs did. Christian Watson, obviously he got injured. I hope him the best, but he's probably done for the season.
Yeah.
Romeo Dobbs is phenomenal.
Jaden Reed.
The running game was going great. A.J. Dillon's really kind of taken over that backfield.
Yes, even without Aaron Jones, they were able to. That's what surprised
Aaron Jones,
me more than anything.
He's washed.
Easy.
Look, I'm just saying, I had him on fantasy. I traded him away.
Injured.
And that's fine. He's always injured.
Right. Fair. That's fair.
Oh, Aaron Jones is a great running back. When he's not going to doctor's appointments?
Right. As I say, your best ability is your availability. But
the last time I checked, you can't run the ball in a leg cast.
No, you can try, but you're not going to make it very far. You might get a yard or two.
You may could go to the nursing home and get a few yards, but that's about it.
If you're playing shuffleboard, you might ink out one or two.
Is that all the Aaron Jones jokes we're going to push out right now?
That's it. I'm going to stop right there. Wrap it back around real quick. Right now, the Packers are the 7th seed. That's right now. If it ended today, they are the 7th seed. Behind them, you've got the Rams at 6-6, the Seahawks at 6-6. I mean, I don't think either of those teams are getting in. And above them, you've got the Vikings, who are probably going to fall out. I don't see any way the Packers don't make the playoffs if they continue to play like this. I'm not saying something can't change. If Christian Watson is out, that is a big deal. He is their best receiver. But with that offense, with them, when they're able to run the football and make plays out of the play action as they were against the Chiefs, they're going to be successful. We've now seen them back-to-back weeks beat Detroit and Kansas City. I don't know how you can't be impressed with them. They are playing like a playoff team right now, 100%.
All I'm saying is their strength of schedule for the remaining weeks, they could easily beat the Giants.
Yep.
The Bucs may give them a little bit of trouble, but then you get the Panthers. That's probably a win. The Vikings, they could win that, and I think the Bears may give them a little bit of trouble if Fields is back because he's a mobile quarterback, and they always give teams problems. But if they could manage to win 4 of these next 5 games, watch out, Lions. It could be difficult for you to maintain that top spot.